Hello everyone, today I want to explain to you how the power sequence or the trigger stage goes within the EC chip or the Super IO or the KBC they call it. So the very first thing the KBC needs is the 3 volts to the VCC pins. Okay, so the 3 volts come from the LDO regulator, low dropout regulator. Okay, a part of it will pass through a coil and then will be fed to a pin on the KBC called AVCC, which is analog VCC. Okay, and also it requires a ground and analog ground. After these, when these are all available, the KBC requires a reset signal called WRS or EC reset, and this comes also from 3 volts LDO regulator or power supply and pass through a resistor and then to the reset pin of the KBC. So this will pull up the reset pin. Okay. After this, the KBC requires to know whether the lid or the monitor is opened or closed. So there is a pin called lid switch. This pin is going to a Hall sensor on the laptop. So this Hall sensor will either pull this pin either to high or low, depends on the position of the monitor or LCD. Okay, then there is a thermal protection circuit. It's just like a voltage divider, and this is also fed to the KBC. This should be okay in order for the AC or the KBC to work. After all of these are okay, all these signals are good, the crystal will start to work at 32 megahertz. Okay, after this crystal works, the EC works, and it will send a lid switch out. Lid switch out. This signal goes out from the EC or the KBC to the PCH, telling the PCH that the lid is opened or closed. Okay, then the AC or the KBC will wait for the on-off signal from the switch. When you press the switch to turn on the laptop, this switch will pull down this pin of the KBC. It's called the power button, or they call it DNP SON. By default, this pin is pulled high by this resistor. This resistor is connected also to the 3 volts LDO. So when you press this button, the power on off switch button, you are pulling this pin to ground. And here is what happens when you push this button. As I said, it's pulled high by default by this resistor, and it's at 3 volts. This pin now at 3 volts. When you press this button, you're pulling it down. So it will go low. And this is the duration of how long you pressed the button. Then it will go back to high. After this signal, after the KBC sense this pin has been pulled down, it will operate, it will run. Okay? It will send power button out. There is a pin called power button out or DMP SON out, and this will go to the BCH. Okay? So when the KBC start to work, a communication between the BIOS chip and the KBC chip will be initiated. Okay? If the file, the pin file inside the BIOS is corrupted, this communication will not happen. And how will you know this communication is not happening? By this pin. Is called RSM reset, resume reset pin. This also goes to the BCH. If you test here with the multimeter and you didn't see this signal, that means the BIOS or the EC chip, one of them is faulty or have a corrupted file. So you need to flash the BIOS. First, try to flash the BIOS. If it still didn't work, check if the BIOS have 3.3 volts at pin 8. If it does have this and you flashed it and everything is okay at the BIOS chip, then the EC either faulty or has a corrupted file. Try reprogramming the EC. If this is helped, then that's it. If it doesn't, then you need to change the EC and reprogram the new one. After this communication happens between the BIOS and the EC or the KBC, the RSM reset, resume reset signal will get out and will be fed to the BCH. Okay? So this is how the KBC works. I hope this can help someone. Thank you for watching, and if you like the video, please consider subscribing to my channel and leave a comment if you have any question. Thank you so much.